In January 2023, Amazon introduces updates related to the FBA New Selection program, as well as the Small and Light program, which gives sellers a great opportunity to lower fees and save money. But how? In this video, you will learn everything you need to know about these changes to lower your spending and increase your profits.
Hi, I'm really happy to have you both here today on OrangeClick channel to talk about Amazon FBA fees and some of the recent updates Amazon has done. So before we go to the details, could you first briefly both introduce yourself and also let us know how Getida helps Amazon sellers?
Yes, so hello everybody. My name is Yoni Mazur. I'm the Chief Growth Officer of Getida and also one of the co-founders.
And my name is Lisa Kinski. I'm the Marketing and Partnerships Manager.
Yes, and Getida, just a little bit more information about that. We're a technology company, and our mission and focus is to help Amazon FBA sellers get the maximum FBA refunds that they're eligible to receive. And we do it worldwide. So whether you sell on Amazon US, Canada, Mexico, UK, EU, we can help you all. That's pretty much it.
All right, very good. And Getida is also, actually your team is going to a lot of Amazon events, and you're always really up to date about different updates Amazon does. So today we will focus on the Amazon FBA fees, and I know to give a better overview, also put together some slides so we can go more into the details. So you can now go ahead and share your screen and tell us what's up with Amazon fees.
You got it. So yeah, we'll focus on the fees and some marketplace updates, which are usually very important and helpful to know. So welcome to the slides, everybody. Once again, that's myself, Yoni. That's my lovely teammate, Lisa. And let's move on to the next slides here. All right, so a little bit more on Getida, if you guys would like to know. We like to see ourselves a global leader in Amazon FBA auditing and reimbursements for the simple fact that we operate on a global level. We are an award-winning company. We won the Gold Award with the American Business Awards. Well, we also won the award with Inc. 5000. We ranked 215 fastest growing companies in the United States. We have a dedicated team of claims specialists. A big part of our team are former Amazon employees who used to work in the FBA reimbursements department. So we know what we're looking for. We know how to present the issues, how to manage all the back and forth. We track and monitor our recovery rate. It's over 70%. So for every 10 cases that we open, usually more than 7 cases get reimbursed. We take a lot of pride in hosting a lot of events, much like events and conferences and programs, much like this one, which are OrangeClick. So once again, thank you, Lizette, and the OrangeClick team for having us. Always appreciated. If you're wondering what's the next event, just visit getida.com/events and you'll be able to see where we're going next. And we like to make our solutions affordable for all sellers at any size and at any stage. So whether you just getting started, you're a newbie, right? You're brand new to Amazon FBA especially, and all the way to the sellers who do over $1 billion. We help with the whole spectrum because it's free to join and it's free to stay. We only charge a fee based on performance. And also we are a partner with Amazon. We're an authorized solution provider by Amazon on the platform. So you can always look for us there, and engage with us is there as well. And okay. And lastly, we do have 2 podcast shows that you guys can check out if you want. We have Sellonomics. It usually goes live. And then you'll be able to see like the coolest people in the industry, but also Prime Talk that goes more of a deep dive into the people in the industry. I do recommend checking out the episode of Augustas Kligis from OrangeClick. He has an amazing story to tell about his life and how he got into e-commerce and how he's basically helping many sellers around the world to sell on Amazon with all the content that OrangeClick provides and the conferences he did in the past and will do in the future. So it's pretty cool. And okay, let's get to the updates. And of course, Lisa, if you want to kick in at any point, give some refineries here, feel free to let me know. But let's check it out. So, Amazon constantly, just to before I dive into this, just to remind everybody that, no matter where you are today with selling on Amazon, keep in mind that it's almost like going to school. You're constantly going to learn new things. There's constantly going to be updates from the school being Amazon, right? The school of Amazon, and the principals and the teachers and the departments and the categories. So the more you realize that this is the environment that you're in and get used to that, the better chances that you'll stay successful over time for many years. So hopefully that's that in mind. I'm going to dive into the recent updates. So here we have basically a signal from Amazon saying that, I'm going to read a little bit. It's in English, but it's Amazonian English. So I'll translate a bit into seller English. There's also selling on Amazon English. So let's give it a try. So Amazon will lower fees for US FBA new selection program, they will increase the rebate on sales for eligible new to FBA parent ASINs from 5% to 10% on average. Increase the number of units eligible and extend the time period eligibility certain benefits with the program. Okay, so in other words, what they're saying here is, there's fees to basically when you create a brand new ASIN on Amazon, okay, and send it to FBA. So, or even if you have an existing ASIN but you never shipped it to FBA, so it's going to be new to FBA, Amazon will lower your fees, selling, fulfillment fees, but also they will increase the rebate. So they have a special program where they say, okay, if you're sending any new ASINs to FBA, which we never had before, we're going to give you a 5% rebate. So for every sale you make, we're going to give you 5% back. So for example, if they usually charge you 15%, they'll give you 5% back. So you're really only paying 10% instead of 15. But here they're telling you, oh, we're going to double that. Instead of giving you 5%, we're going to give you 10%. So when you sell this new ASIN or new to FBA ASIN on Amazon, right? And instead of charging you 15%, they'll charge you only 5%. So huge savings, huge opportunity. So if you're having any ASINs that are FBM, fulfilled by merchant, never sold on FBA, consider this program. You could just scan this this barcode here and learn more about it. But if you're planning to launch new ASINs and send it to FBA, great opportunity there. Basically, the signal from Amazon is we want new products, we want new ASINs, and especially want them on FBA, and we're willing to pay you or credit you or give you a rebate to do so. So it's really a great opportunity to make a lot of money there. So keep that in mind. And Amazon here on the left, they're saying you can scan and learn more, but Amazon will reduce fees by expanding the small and light program. Okay. Small light program is a program where if you register your SKUs to this program, the Amazon will charge you less in fulfillment fees, typically $1 less per unit. So, the program was eligible for ASINs that sell up to $10, but now they're expanding it to $12. So if you're selling products for $11 or $12, we're not able to register for the program. You will be able to do so now and save a lot of money. So I do recommend checking that out. Updates to US referral and FBA fees starting January 17, 2023. If you're watching this now, it's probably going to be December of 2022. We're heading into January 2023. So here are the updates. Some of them are okay, some of them are less okay. Let's check it out. FBA outbound fees. Okay, the rates will increase by 22 cents on average. Okay, which is below fees that blah blah blah. They're saying basically we increase it, but it's below other options that you have out there in the marketplace. Okay, so check that out. All right, for apparel products, okay, clothing category, basically Amazon will use the greater unit weight or dimensional weight to determine the shipping weight for all large standard size products. This is similar to the change where they made in 2022. So in other words, but we're telling you with apparel products, there's two types of measurements that Amazon uses to charge the sellers fees. It could be the weight or dimension of their product, but now they're telling you there's also a dimensional weight, basically the whole spectrum of the product. Whatever is higher, they're going to use to charge you the fees. In other words, they're going to charge you more fees probably for some of the products because the dimensional weight carries more volume in their systems and in their warehouses, so they're going to charge you more fees. So once again, this announcement is more fees, 22 on average, 22 cents per average. This basically tells you when they fulfill the orders and stuff like that, they're going to charge you more fees when they ship it. But on the other hand, number 3, they're telling you Amazon will reduce the return processing fee for customer return products in the apparel and shoes category on average by 20 cents per return. So in other words, here they're telling you with the apparel especially, we're going to charge you more when we kind of ship it out, right? But if we get refunds, okay, the returns, we're going to charge you less, okay? On average, 20 cents less per return, which is pretty big actually, because you get a lot of returns with apparel and shoes. People buy a few sizes and they make sure the one that fits stays and the ones that doesn't, they send back. So usually sellers get high level of returns and processing fees. So this helps them to kind of balance it. So these are the updates. So if any of you are selling in these categories, make sure that you're aware of all these changes. Adjust your cost calculations. Okay, if they're more, make sure it's more. You understand it's more. If it's less, it's okay. This way, you'll adjust your margins. You understand what you need to do regarding prices. If it's going more, if you need to adjust your prices going up, do so to protect your margins. If there's more room for you to stay competitive and lower it because your fees are being lowered, do that as well. So take it into your consideration.
And a quick call out on these announcements. In general, the changes are going to be starting on January 17th. But if you notice on the second point, it begins February 16th. So as we move through this presentation, pay special attention to the different start dates of these changes so that you're up to date with everything in your business. So sorry, Yoni, go ahead.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you so much. Okay, so number 4, Amazon will increase the monthly off-peak storage fee. Okay, by 4 cents per cubic foot. In other words, from January to September, to store product on FBA will increase by that amount. For standard size, for oversized products, it will be 3 cents per cubic. In other words, the signal here is inflation, more cost to store. Before they were mostly touching the fulfillment stuff, now they're talking about the storage stuff. Also peak storage fees, which is the October to December, for non-sortable will increase per 20 cents per cubic foot, while those of the sortable network will remain unchanged. Once again, the signal here is on the storage level. There's going to be an increase in pricing, so keep that in mind. I guess with this in mind, just make sure that you sell as soon as possible, just replenish. So Amazon FBA is not a good place to store your products in general, never a good idea. And now with the signal that they're going to make it more expensive, it's even better to just keep in mind that you need to sell your products as soon as possible and not let it really stay in the fulfillment center. It's not cheap at all. Okay, Amazon will introduce a storage utilization surcharge, which means more money to pay by sellers who have a high cube of inventory stored in the fulfillment centers relative to the cube of their recent weekly sales. They estimate this will impact approximately 7.5% of the sellers who use highest volume of storage relative to the sales volume. Okay, it's going to take place in April. In other words, what they're saying here in English, plain English, sellers are really maximizing their storage limits, okay, utilization, which is 7.5% of the sellers. Basically, they're going to get surcharged. They're going to pay more for that. So it's a signal from Amazon. We want you to get your products in and out as soon as possible. And when it goes out, it pretty much means when it's selling. So they want high, fast, rotating, fast selling products in our warehouses, in our fulfillment centers. And because if not, and you're going to be really close to the storage limits that we're giving you, you're going to pay extra fees for that. So once again, this is all the signals that Amazon is giving, that this is the profile and dynamics that they expect of the inventory in the warehouses from the sellers. So they need to adjust to that. So April is a change. Make sure to adjust to that. If you have really high utilization of storage, maybe consider chopping off a little bit of that inventory or improve your sales one way or another. So it's moving and selling much faster. And then Amazon hopefully also increase your limits, and you're never going to come close to those limits and never going to get overcharged with the surcharges. Okay, number 6. Amazon will increase, the surcharges apply to inventory stored between basically 9 months to a year. Okay, the 275 days to 365 is 9 months to a year. And that basically lasts fourth quarter since the units or inventory came in. Additionally, they will introduce aged inventory surcharge on inventory stored between 6 months to 9 months, excluding products in the following categories. So all these types of products from 6 to 9 months, they're going to be charged more with fees, except for these categories, which is apparel, shoes, bags, jewelry, and watches. Okay, these will not be affected. And the changes will take place April 15. Okay. Once again, this is all these nuances of categories and this and that. So whatever applies to you, make the changes. Whatever doesn't, it's okay, you can ignore. But now you're educated. You're educated enough to know that even if you're gonna go into these categories, you know that there's all these costs or discounts or opportunities available. So that's gonna be the idea to educate you guys, so a bit more aware of what's going on. Okay, Amazon will increase removal and disposal fees driven by increased costs of these services. So liquidation fees will remain unchanged. You can scan this a little more. So once again, when you remove your products from Amazon, from FBA, or dispose it, basically they're going to increase the fees. This is going to cost you more. So hopefully the message is the best way to get your products out of Amazon's fulfillment centers is by selling them. Sell them, make profit, and start the whole process again. If you're sending them inventory that's not really moving, you're going to get punished. And then once you want to take it out of there, you're going to get punished. Punished means you're going to pay more in fees than you usually did. So it's not really the best way to go. So on average, these fees change are, below those announced, Amazon fulfillment will remain on average 30% less expensive than any other services solutions out there. That's kind of Amazon's high-level messaging, telling you, we understand that it's going to cost you more, but just, it's much more competitive than other options in the marketplace. They're actually right. And that's basically how inflation looks like for Amazon sellers with all these announcements and updates. So, Before I go forward, any thoughts, ideas, Lizette and Lisa?
Just to point out here, of course, you guys can read the full release on Seller Central, but paying close attention, there's some things that are going to be helping sellers, with the rebates and things like that. And then other things that are going to unfortunately impact your business to make your fees more expensive, but just keep a close eye on it and be sure to make changes to your business accordingly. Just like Yoni said at the beginning, Amazon is, you're a constant learner. You're always in school. So you got to be sure to study.
Yeah. Also, on a side note, just for kicks, I did meet the lady on Amazon that writes all these updates from the marketplace. We went to an event in September in Seattle that Amazon invited us to sponsor. It was called Amazon Accelerate. It was a big conference. I think the first in-person conference they did in Seattle, their home base. And we went and we were hanging around and having drinks. And I talked to this lady. She's from Amazon. What do you do? I write, yeah, you probably don't know. You don't understand. They're like, tell me. It's like, I do all these updates and news on Amazon Seller Central. I'm like, that's all I read. I tell her, I'm like, you're her #1 fan. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, the message here from Amazon, whatever sells well, sells fast, is going to perform well. And they want more selections. So you're going to get benefits out of that. Whatever doesn't sell well, it's old, it's getting aged. They're going to basically, it's going to cost you more. So avoid that. Try to stay in a very, very efficient, smart marketer, seller, and, an operator. Okay, let's keep moving. FBA fulfillment fee audit. So up to now, we talked about all the updates. Now we're going to talk about basically how to audit and understand your fee structures on FBA, because we touched a lot about it with the updates. Now we're going to drive in to understanding a bit more how to do it with your own account. So hopefully you'll be able to take actions and understand the fees, the fulfillment fees that you're paying. And of course, if there's an issue with it, you'll be able to take action. So check it out. If you go to Visit Seller Central, and you go to reports and click fulfillment and fee preview, it will give you the report, which will show you per ASIN how much you're expected to pay if you sell the product. And Amazon will charge you fulfillment fees. What's the fulfillment fees? Amazon picks the unit, your inventory from the bin, they package it in a box and they ship it out. That's fulfillment fees, FBA fulfillment fees. In this report, you'll be able to see where it's at. That's kind of the first thing you do if you want to really see if they're charging you correctly or not, right? So now the second report that you want to grab or download is payment reports. So visit Seller Central, go to reports, payments, date range reports, click on generate reports, choose transaction option, custom, past 3 months. Because if Amazon overcharge you with fees, with this pick and pack or fulfillment fees, you're only going to be able to get refunds for the past 3 months or 90 days. Okay, so there's no point in checking how much you paid in the past few years or overpaid, because they're not going to give you a refund. They're only going to give you a refund or reimbursement for the past 3 months. And the idea is here to audit it, to see if you're really overpaying or not. Because if you are, you should be able to get some money back, right? That's the idea. And even maybe more importantly, fix it so that going forward, they're going to stop overcharging you. So there's 2 things you got to accomplish, right? All right, so you grab both of these reports and you compare the above reports with your own file report with the correct and exact weight and dimensions per each ASIN. In other words, you're going to have 3 reports. The first report is yours. You know your product, your ASINs, and what's the weight and dimensions per ASIN. You compare it to what Amazon thinks it is. If you see there's a gap between what they think it is, and you'll see that you really paid those fees, the over fees for those ASINs, then you'll need to open a case with Amazon, report to them about it so they fix it. So going forward, you don't overpay. And also you need to do the calculation, the mathematics of how much you overpaid for these orders. So if you had 1,000 orders and you paid $7 per order extra, that's $7,000, for example, just to make it simple math. So this is how you kind of run or conduct an FBA fulfillment fee audit. And this is how you actually grab the reports. We took the snapshots and screenshots for you to make it a bit more helpful. Visit Seller Central, reports, fulfillment, right? And then in fulfillment on the left-hand side, you'll see that there's a payments fee preview. And then you request it as a CSV or text, whatever you guys want. Okay, and then you click on download. That's the first report. Now this is the second report. Visit Seller Central, go to reports, payment, generate report. What you want to do is make sure it's a transaction report, and you choose 3 months. Okay, you go 3 months, and then boom, you have it. Okay, that's how you actually do it. So that's pretty much it on how to conduct an FBA fulfillment fee audit, where you grab the reports, how you grab the reports, and what you need to do with the reports. It's not sexy, it's not fun, it's not beautiful, but you have to do it, because if you're overpaying with fees, it's your profit. So you have to do something about it. So first you got to fix it. So going forward, your profit is healthy, is good. And then if you're able to go back 90 days, 3 months, they give you the refunds. Of course, this is too much for you, too much of a headache. You want to hear from it. You don't want to hear about it. there are solutions out there that help with this. It happens to be that with Getira, we wanted them. So if you ever need our help, we'll be able to help you. But you really have to do this as a professional Amazon seller. And before I continue, any questions, Lisa, Lizette, thoughts, ideas?
Do you know any information about EU marketplaces or other marketplaces? Could sellers expect any increases there as well in the next year?
Yeah, for the most part, what typically happens is it starts with the US and then it transitions into Europe, much like Amazon started. Amazon started in the US and then transitioned to Europe. It took a few maybe weeks or months, but they did it. But that's yeah, expect the storm. If it's stormy in the US, there's a saying that if the United States sneezes, the whole world gets a cold or something like that, right? I think there's a phrase like that. Know that phrase?
I've never heard that.
Yeah, there's a phrase like that.
But I think we got your point. So for sellers who are selling on those other marketplaces, I guess it's we're still listening and going through all of the points and kind of playing with the idea if it would happen with the other marketplaces as well, if they're like all set and prepare already in advance because yeah,
I'll tell you this much on the new selection discount. I know they have that in Europe. I think it's still on 5%. If it's going to go into a 10%, it's great for the sellers. Great news. So there's a mix of not so good news and really good news. So take it in perspective. So but I think that in the following weeks we'll probably see the updates on the EU and the UK side. Very good point. All right, so here we prepared a $5 million case study for you guys. Because, we touched about how to, run the audit and know where the fees are with the reports that have all these fees for fulfillment fees. Now I want to show you something that is a case study of a $5 million seller. You see, and then they have this beautiful blue area of all the products that got sold. And then unfortunately, you have the red area where all these fees. So if you look closely, you see FBA fees looks very thin and Amazon fees look very, very thick. So the thing here, it's a little bit confusing. It's misleading maybe because Amazon fees has a lot of FBA fees as well. So you see that from 77,000 that are paid in Amazon fees, 43,000 of it, which is almost 20% of revenue, is in FBA fees type A, which is the fulfillment fees. The fees, I just showed you how to download the data to see how much they are. So this case study is really a focus on showing you guys the weight and the impact of all these fees, how high they are. Because the king of all fees on FBA is the fulfillment fees. When Amazon picks the unit from the bin, they package it, they send it out. That's the pick and pack fees or the fulfillment fees. In this case study of a $5 million seller, 43,000 divided by 219,000, that's almost 20% from revenue. So you're going to see here that, almost 20% in FBA fees, the fulfillment fees, which I showed you how to grab the data and see how much you're paying, and especially if you're overpaying, the regular FBA fees, and then the selling fees. So put it all together, 35% of all the sellers' revenue are Amazon fees, which are burning through the margin. Because if you're selling $5 million a year, 35% of fees and 1.75 million in annual fees. So the idea is that you are able to recognize and know and evaluate how much you're paying in fees. Okay. And I recommend everybody to know what their status is or what the percentage is. If you're in 35%, you're 40%, or you're 28%, whatever it is, because the moment you know your percent, you'll be able to take actions to hopefully lower it. So imagine this seller, if they're lowering it from 35 to 34% or 33% or 32, they're going to make much more. They're going to make much more profit. Okay, so that's kind of the idea here. So here's a simple strategy now. So here's a few things. Now that we know that the king of all fees on FBA is the fulfillment fees, then we basically and that affects all the fees that you're paying. We need to devise a simple strategy to lower them. Okay, so all you got to do is really package lighter, smaller, and smarter. I think in this presentation, in this slide, I think I'll give it a bit to Lisa to expand because she's really good at it. So go ahead, Lisa, take us there.
Thank you. And then something else like to pay close attention to is what we highlighted earlier, that the small and light category is actually expanding from 10 to 12, like you said before. And it's funny to see how inflation has kind of changed things. Because I remember when we went over this presentation, Yoni, you were like, it used to be $5 and then it was $8. Like, how big is they're going to let this small and light category get? So like you said, the key to success here is to package everything smaller and lighter. So if you think about shipping a soccer ball, right? It'd be awesome to take it out of the box, be ready to go, start playing with it with the kids, but that's not optimal for shipping. It's not optimal for storage. You want to be sure to ship that as deflated as possible and get the packaging down to as light and as small as you possibly can. And then the benefit of that too is if you're able to minimize that fee, getting it to the small and light category, you can maybe then begin to bundle your product if you also sell air pumps. So it's a way to not only decrease your fees, but also to increase your profits with offering different kind of product offerings. Another way is going to be apparel. You guys, sometimes rolling an item makes more sense. Sometimes folding an item makes more sense. Either way, I got something the other day where they had vacuum sealed it, which that was the first time I saw that. Usually they just come in the bag and then it's in the envelope. They vacuum sealed it to make it as absolutely thin as possible. So get creative with your packaging. Just make it as small and light as possible and try to get those easy, square dimensions, if you will, in my mind, because those are going to be the easiest for Amazon to store and categorize.
All right, so now that you did everything that you can to really make sure that your products are as low in terms of weight and dimensions, they're as small and light as possible. Therefore, you're going to pay much, much less in fees, because we saw that these fees take a lot of your money, basically. That's the first thing you got to do. And the second thing is keep tracking it. And we just taught you, we really showed you how to do it, where you grab the reports and do the audit. So make sure you track it, because you need to realize that over time, they might change. Okay, so you have to constantly check every 3 months on your account that nothing changed and nothing got overcharged, because if it did, you got to take the action. So keep that in mind. I'll give you one small example how maybe Amazon might start changing the fees and charge you more by mistake. So let's say you're selling a handbag and that handbag has a strap, right? So you shipped it in with the strap inside the handbag, but then somebody else bought it. And when they returned it, they returned with the strap hanging loose. Okay, and then Amazon has a big machine called Cubic Scan Machine. They're scanning it in this big machine, and this strap is adding, I don't know, 30 inches, 40 inches, whatever. So the machine and Amazon thinks all of a sudden, oh, this item is much larger than it is. So they're going to recalculate, and boom, from that moment, they're going to start overcharging you with fees. Okay, so every product has their own story, but bottom line, it might change over time. So to be professional, check it every 3 months. And if you see that they're overcharging you, fix it. And also make sure you get the refunds. And also here's a little kind of a bonus for you guys. It's free tools for Amazon sellers. You can just visit Getida.com or scan this code. You're going to get a package of 2 things. The first thing is an ebook about how to read an Amazon income statement. Basically understand all the money that's coming in and all the money that's coming out. And the second thing will be a profit and loss template. So you understand all the fees and structure of your business. We focused it in the presentation on the FBA fees or the fulfillment fees, but you really need to know all the fees across your business to know if you're really making profit or even worse, losing money. We see that really over the years, it's amazing how successful Amazon sellers are in growing their business and generating a lot of sales. And we constantly meet sellers, even large volume sellers, that really have no idea if they're making profit or not. You ask them, okay, so how much profit you make this year? They don't know. How much in money? I don't know. But how much in percentage? I don't know. So here's a simple tool you can use, profit and loss template. Just throw it all in there. Then it'll tell you bottom line, you made 100,000 a year, which is 7%. Whatever it is, you should know it, because that's the reason you work. Nobody works to make a lot of sales, because that doesn't mean that you're going to keep all the sales in your pocket. What you're going to keep in your pocket is the profit. Unless you're a non-profit organization, which I never met yet selling on Amazon. So keep that in mind. Lisa, anything else you want to add on these?
No, I think that these are 2 really awesome tools if anybody's not taking advantage of the ebook, at least, because you can see alone how their releases are in legalese. The income statements can't be much easier to read. So definitely use these resources, guys.
There we go. Okay, so I want to make 3 quick points about auditing and the potential in auditing. So today we really only touch about the fulfillment fees, because they carry a lot of weight, and you need to be able to reduce it, or if you're being overcharged for it, do something about it. So this is the main reason for the presentation. But here are 3 points I want you to keep in mind. The first point is that there's many other things that Amazon and the fulfillment centers might basically make mistakes, and you're going to be owed money. They can lose your inventory, they can damage it, they can dispose it, they can make it disappear. And if you take all of this together, it can range between 1 to 3% from your revenue. So in other words, if you're selling $1 million a year in FBA, all these issues with your inventory, you might be owed 1 to 3%, which will be $10,000 to $30,000. But you need to take action in order to get these refunds. It's up to you, the seller, to do so. Amazon allows up to 18 months look back to get all these refunds, so do not miss out. You don't want to let anything expire. And once you open cases with Amazon and Amazon needs more information, make sure to give it to them. Don't think just because you found a mistake or an issue that you owe money and you open a case, it's done. It's not really the reality. The reality is Amazon might ask you for more information. There's more of a back and forth element with their team. So make sure to be ready and have that in mind, and especially have documents ready for them if needed. So these are 3 major points that I want you to remember. Once again, there's money for you, money that's owed to you, but you have to do something about it in order to get it. And there's rules you gotta and timeframes that you gotta basically stand for, and also a dynamic of back and forth once you actually communicate with Amazon. So these are 3 major points I want you to keep in mind and remember. And if you ever wonder why you might need help with auditing, these are more things that we look at, okay, for sellers. If anything here looks unfamiliar, it probably means that you're leaving money behind. Okay, so once again, we're able to go back 18 months and all these transactions and data. And if you owe money, take action and basically recover the available funds. And only for successful, we're going to get rewarded. So keep that in mind. All right, so here I want to touch a case study of basically streamlining and explaining to you guys the positive impacts if you really maximize all the money that's owed to you. So let's take this case study. It's an $18 million seller, sold 300,000 units. 9,000 units got affected with all the issues, all the inventory that got lost, damaged, destroyed, disappeared, overcharged with fees, like I showed you the fees earlier, right? Which is 2.8% from revenue. Now, with Getira, we're able to recover 151,000, which increased the bottom line and the profit by almost 11%. Because before Getira, the profit was 1.3 million. We added 151 and boom, profit rose by 11%. So it's very, very dramatic. This is the first layer of positive impact. Now imagine if you added $151,000 to your profit and you want to sell your Amazon business. When you sell your Amazon business, you're basically selling your profits for future years. So the one buying it will tell you, I'm going to give you a multiple of years for your profit. I'm going to give you 3x or 3 years in advance for your profit, or 5x, 5 years in advance for your profit. Whatever it is, that's a negotiation you do when you sell your business. So let's say you get a 5x multiple, okay, on your profit, and you added 151,000 for your profit. Boom, all of a sudden you make $750,000 because you increase your profits with Getira or with really maximizing all your FBA refunds. So if you're selling Amazon business, make sure to get everything that you owed. Go back 18 months to get all that money back to you, because whoever's buying it will pay you nicely for it. And of course, if you're buying an Amazon business and whoever sold the Amazon account or the business to you, and they failed to get all the money back from the 18 months, you can do it. So if you bought this account, you went back 18 months, you got $151,000 back, boom, you have a really good return on investment. So this is the financial sophistication that's behind auditing and FBA reimbursements that now you are aware of. And because of it, make sure you always land on the right side. Okay. And also, if you ever want to kind of sell your business or you want to understand your business better and what's working, what's not working, just consider consulting a specialist. There's a group called Norban Group. You can scan this or visit getira.com/MBG. Reach out to them. They're really good in deconstructing your business and making sure to focus and make you understand what's really working for your business and making the profit. Okay, so once you understand that, you're gonna have a really good business for many, many years because you know where the profit is at. And because of that, if you ever want to sell it, they'll be ready to sell. So, keep that in mind. It really gives a lot of clarity. And I think that's amazing. So I do recommend considering that. And then here, if you guys want, we also prepared a special offer. We prepared a $400 offer for you guys. You can just visit getira.com/click, KLIK, if you're listening to this on the radio, right? Yeah. So basically what's going to happen is that the first $400 that we're going to get for you in FBA refunds, they're going to be free. So this is a guarantee. By trying this offer, you're going to get $400 in your pocket, no matter what. After $400, if you want to leave us, you can leave. If you want to stay, you can stay. It's okay with us. You can just also scan this code and check it out. And yeah, and basically that's most of what we have for you guys today. This is my my information. This is my email. Feel free to reach out at any time. This is Lisa's. We're here to help. Just to recap, we provided updates from the marketplace. All the stuff, all the costs are going up, and hopefully some of the costs are gonna go down. We taught you how to really audit and grab the data to see how much you're paying in fees, especially fulfillment fees. And then if you're overpaying, what to do. And then also showing you from a case study of how much a seller was paying in fees, which was only FBA fees, which is 20%, which was a lot. And basically, what can you do to reduce them? Some strategies. And then and also to remember that you got to check on this stuff every 3 months. And that's the main idea here. So hopefully this will help. This was helpful. You hopefully save some money and make some more money. That's kind of the main idea that we have in mind, and hopefully was successful. And that's it. I give it back to you, Lisa, and back to Lisette. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, both. It was really detailed presentation, and there are quite a lot of updates, actually. It's not only like one fee and one thing, it's actually quite a lot of things to pay attention. And as Lisa pointed out, some things are enrolled or rolled out on different dates. So it's really important to kind of schedule everything in. Yeah, and you already gave a good overview also how Getida works and how do you help Amazon sellers. But before we wrap up, I wanted to ask one more thing. Everybody watching us can learn more about you by clicking the link in the description. But I wanted to ask, Getida, do you work with all of the different Amazon marketplaces as of today?
So we operate on a global level. So the main marketplace we work with is North America, which is US, Canada, Mexico, but also UK and EU. Okay, we still don't do like Japan or smaller or India, smaller marketplace. For the main reason is that we never kind of got requested by our sellers. So, you know, we kind of try to follow where our community or our user base is pushing us. And if we're going to get pushed enough into those directions, we'll definitely open those up. So hopefully that kind of helps. But I think the idea is that we cover maybe 98% of FBA global marketplaces.
Okay, sounds really good. All right. Thank you both. I hope, wish good luck in your business and also hope to see you soon again on the OrangeClick YouTube channel.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you have learned everything you need to reduce your Amazon costs. Getida also has a special offer for you that you will find in the video description, and feel free to leave a comment below if you have any other questions related to this topic. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe below this video. And now I would suggest you to watch other video where Lisa Kinsey from Getida gives 10 actionable tips on how to grow your Amazon FBA business.